A recent article by the Sacramento Bee painted a very, very troubling picture of the Del Norte County Sheriff's Department. Recently, the Del Norte County Board of Supervisors voted 4-1 to appoint Undersheriff Randy Walls to the position of sheriff, filling out the term of leaving County Sheriff Eric Apperson. Del Norte County Supervisor Valerie Starkey was the lone vote against the appointment. Supervisor Starkey, in light of this article that has come out, did this have impact on your vote at that time?
No. We weren't aware of the content that was going to be in this article. We were told that the Sacramento Bee was up in Del Norte County looking for information with regard to the Sheriff's Department, but we had no idea the content. My reason for the sole vote, as you put it, was I really believe in having a transparent process, and this was not a transparent process. In the end, we may have all 5-0 voted in Randy Waltz, but we needed to, I feel that the public has a right to watch the process as it unfolds. And so I was very adamant that we needed to have that be a public process, let people apply. He might have been the only applicant, which is often what we see here for some of our jobs. But at least then the public would have seen that process of how we are making these decisions.
Let me ask you for your general reaction and comments to the article, because there are parts of it that are incredibly troubling. And let me just say that some of these things, particularly the issues of sexual abuse in the jail, as well as the relationship or alleged relationship with the underage explorer, were things that were brought to me some time ago. I didn't have the ability to follow up on them. As a supervisor who represents the people of this county, I mean, what the heck's going on in our jail and in our sheriff's department?
Well, I mean, this was a very difficult read. I mean, I'm not going to try and sidestep that at all. It was very, very difficult. There were many different stories in that, you know, should cause concern to anybody. But it was, and I just have to go back to this, and I hate that I say this all the time, but I was a probation officer for 30 years. You can never just look at things on the headlines. You can't just look at the surface, right? So while there was troubling things, I would need to see all that supporting document to really know what was going on. What I do believe is that if all of this is true, and that's not just, you know, journalism, then we need to take this as an opportunity to clean up a lot of things that are going on in that department. It seems as if there's been years of practices that need to be amended and corrected.
Yeah, and that leads me to my next question. I mean, I have a couple, but the first one is, yes, the county sheriff is a separate elected position. And at the same time, we have a board of supervisors, yourself included, whose charge is to represent all of the people of this community. What can the county board of supervisors do to ensure that there's appropriate oversight in what's happening with our sheriff department and our jail? And let me bring this perhaps to another issue. We recently had a major change in the medical services contract. And for me, it's a little bit concerning that if we had these other things going on, they weren't being adequately dealt with. What happens going forward?
There are several different components to that question.
And I understand that.
Yeah. What happens going forward? Not to dissect every single point that you made in there, but as with anything, we get this information. It's information that's hard to digest, but what can we do to improve from here on out? So, I know that's a sidestep of answering your question here, but the bottom line is that we are here now, and we can look at the past and what happened, and sounds very horrid. But what can we do moving forward to make this a healthier department so that our community knows that they are being protected and that their rights are being protected as well. So, I think that you learn from mistakes and you move forward from them. If this is accurate information, we need to make sure that we take it and we move forward from here.
Do you know of any current effort for the Board of Supervisors will have a public discussion of this piece of journalism on one of its upcoming meetings? Because it seems to me that this is, I think, something that deserves public acknowledgement and the ability for the public to weigh in on. That's my thought. Is there any discussion of this being brought up during a supervisor session?
Well, with the Brown Act, it's a very difficult thing. So the five of us have not been able to sit down and have, a meeting to be able to decide how to move forward with this. So that's difficult. I can tell you what I've done is that I've reached out to county council and asked that ways in which to correct past practices so that we can move forward and have a healthier department. So I've done that on my own. Whether or not other supervisors have found pause with this article or not, I don't know, because we don't have that ability to talk about it without being in a public forum. So that would be a question that you would have to ask each individual supervisor. I would absolutely support some sort of public forum to which people bring this information forward. Again, we only can allow 3 minutes for public comment, and then the back and forth doesn't normally typically happen. But I think that this is worthy of having a public. It kind of reminds me of when you have any kind of issue, right? Let's put it out there. Let's talk about it, and then let's figure out how to move forward from here. And if we can't do that, if everybody's trying to brush it under the carpet or trying to hide it, well, it's out there. Let's just talk about it and move forward and come up with ways and solutions to make some major changes so that this type of behavior doesn't reoccur.
Del Norte County Supervisor Valerie Starkey, thank you for joining us on KFUG Community News.